Egyptian youth people in Egypt. Yes, they are waiting for your knowledge and experience to learn more about GIS and how to scale up in the GIS. Okay, so let's start. Could you please introduce yourself and tell the people more who you are, what you're doing?
Sure. So first of all, thanks to you for inviting me here, and I'm excited to interact with this vibrant community today. As you all know, my name is Audai Patil. I'm the founder of the company called as TechGX. We mainly work into the climate tech area. So I have almost 25 years of experience into the geospatial and IT domain. I work with various industries across the globe. And now from last 1 year, I am into the startup field where we are developing the product, SaaS-based product, kind of for the climate modeling. And I will talk more about that in the later stage.
Perfect. We can start with the most important question in the mind of any student who learns GIS. What are the key skills you think a fresh grad or student who learns GIS should be focusing on and to gain, whether it's a GIS or a technical skill or a soft skill?
It's an interesting question. So I will say this is depends on their interest as well, right? So there are three major areas where they can focus more. One is in the technology. There is research and the domain. So let me explain. So on the technology front, we have various platforms that we can use. So we can say like ArcGIS, like everybody must be familiar with ArcGIS, right? So that is one of the platforms we can use. There are some open source platforms like QGIS. That is also a good platform. It is open source, free to use. Anybody can, in fact, develop that platform on some plugins to it. And there is a third area which is more focused onto the environment, climate science, and all that is Google Earth Engine, right? So that is also another area. So there are various technologies they can start with. The research area is really another interesting area where GIS is really where we can do the research through the GIS, especially into the climate modeling or the autonomous navigation systems, right? So that is another area. And when I say domain, domain means it's all about the knowledge of the industry, as you all know, right? So GIS has a vast applicability, right? So it can be used in various industries. So to start with, you can think about one or two domains. One domain where you can deep dive into that domain, understand the domain. So you will be able to relate the GIS with the domain, and that's where it will help them from finding the right industry for their career.
Interesting. I might share with you one of the challenges that face some of the GISers in our region, who is more ready to work in the GIS field. Is it the geographer or engineer or software developer? What is the case in a region like North America or Europe? How geographers are working in the GIS field versus the engineers versus the computer science grads?
So geographer, so it depends on the expertise, what skills they have acquired or what skill they want to acquire and where they are good, right? So geographer is always a good thing. I mean, they can learn a lot from the geospatial standpoint, but when it comes to the applicability of the GIS and the geospatial things, you always need engineering support as well. So especially the programming languages, right? So I understand the engineering and computer science, they are also again kind of related things. So especially in the US, GIS is being vastly used into the utilities and telecom. Okay, so and when it comes to utilities and telecom GIS, you need lots of programming knowledge. You have to implement. So in these industries, they are using it for the network management systems. They are using it for the field operations. And many other things, like they integrate these systems with their OMS systems and IDMS systems and all, right? So for all these purposes, they need programming language. So it's a combination only being into the geographer. Of course, there are job opportunities, there are career opportunities in US for the geographers as well. But if you go with the good programming skills and good knowledge onto the engineering side, that will also that's another area where they can find it better.
Interesting. So my question, the coming next question is about the trends. You know, now we are in the era of AI. We were having the IoT recently, and I know how the climate management and climate technology is utilized using AI and GIS, especially in Florida, due to the hurricanes and all the climate challenges there are there. What do you think are the coming trends in the coming like 5 years from now that the young GISers should be aware of and ready and try to learn and study from now?
Yeah, so you rightly said. So GIS alone, GIS of course is a very powerful technology, but when you combine that with or use the other advanced technologies like AI, IoT, and all, it becomes more powerful. Okay, so especially into the climate area, we use all these AI technologies because there are three challenges we face into the climate area. One is the data. Data is really kind of vast, and we have various data sources that we have to use. It's not one data. Every climate model requires different kind of a data source, right? So it's a vast data, and when it comes to processing a vast data, you AI always helps, right? And especially for the predictive modeling and the processing automation of the data, right? The other area is the modeling, right? So that is another challenge we especially face into this. And right, AI is really powerful in getting the this kind of a modelings done, right? So that is another challenge. And third is of course the technological challenge. When I say technology, means that comes with your compute powers, right? So especially the your processing capabilities, and nowadays we have lots of GPU capabilities and all, right? So how we make use of this, and in all these technologies, AI plays important roles, right? And on the IoT side, on the climate tech, when you are doing a real-time analysis, you of course need a real-time data, and that's where the IoT plays an important role from that getting the real-time data. Okay, so say for example, there are kind of weather stations, right? So they can transmit the data faster through the telematics kind of a thing, and that can be consumed by the platform and process it, and then that can be used by the users, right? So that's where IoT plays an important role, and that is also a trend nowadays because everybody wants a solution in a faster way, right? So they want to see real time, like especially you mentioned in Florida, we have hurricanes, so there may be say 8 to 10 days of period, pre-hurricane period and post-hurricane period, where you need a real-time system, gather the data from the different systems, and then create that kind of by using geospatial AI and all those things, create those kind of platforms or the solutions for the users where they can use it in the real time, and then they can create that resilience planning and everything.
Interesting. So, moving to my next question, what are the main challenges you think that the fresh grads and GIS students might face in the coming 5 years with coping with these new technologies? Considering into putting in the mind the challenge of the AI, some people sees the AI is coming to take our job, but some other people, I am one of them, that AI could lead you to be a very powerful person and a very productive person. What are the challenges you think with this huge change in the GIS scene globally, especially for students and fresh grads in the GIS field?
Yeah, so that's an interesting question. So, technologies are changing rapidly, right? So, the programming language and all those things that we use to develop the programs, they are now outdated. Okay, So now trends are more not onto the programming side, onto the solution side. So what programming you use, what language you use is not important, but what solution you provide to the clients, that is very important, right? So considering that aspect, I suggest you should be always kind of a constantly learning the technologies. So means same platform and tools can be developed in multiple technologies, right? So you have to adapt with the technologies and learn it constantly. That's very important, and especially from the AI standpoint, it has a vast applicability, right? So and even from the geospatial standpoint, so that's the area. I also agree with you, Mohammed, on the usage of the AI will not reduce the jobs. In fact, you just have to align yourself into that. Okay, so it's not. Yeah, this is not going to take the. Of course, there are some areas, some jobs, like especially coding jobs. Okay, especially the testing related jobs, they will be impacted because of this, because of the AI. Lots of automation, automated tool. You can see nowadays even ChatGPT and Gemini can write a code for you. So that is there. But even with these tools, okay, these AI-based tools, you need a human brain to use that programming or whatever code that tool is providing to you, right? So, and that cannot be replaced easily. At least within next, I don't see any technology which is coming up that in a such a way that brains can be replaced, right? So, now I would suggest students to quickly adopt those technologies. Use this tool. I'm actually in actually, I suggest my team also to use the tool, use in a such a way that it should be very smart, and that helps you to improve your productivities, improve your efficiencies in developing whatever your application or whatever you are doing, right? So I agree. This is not going to take up the jobs, but in fact, if you add more, if you accommodate in a such a way that these technologies, that helps you to grow into your job in your career.
Another question, now after COVID, especially after COVID in 2020, a lot of companies and a lot of workers are started to work remotely. How do you think this could be an opportunity for people in the Middle East region to work in some US companies or European companies, and how they should utilize such an opportunity, or how they should get ready for this opportunity?
Uh, yeah. So I mean, especially in my company, we have a team working remotely. It's all remote. Since I have a good network into India, I am using the Indian team. Okay, so but it's all remote. We don't have any physical office anywhere, and they are working from there. So that's really good and a big thing at this moment. And even customers are looking for this because that helps you to reduce your costs, right? So that's a really big opportunity. You can work from Middle East or any area. It's all boils down to the cost. And if the clients are getting the benefits from the cost, but they also look for the output or the quality, right? Quality in the work. So you should be focusing more when you are working remotely. You should be focusing more on this part of like quality improvement, quality into the code, quality into your implementation, right? So that is very important. Clients are focused on that, and if they get that confidence from you while working from remotely, definitely this is a good solution, and that also reduces lots of other challenges while coming to US. There are lots of visa challenges and all these immigration things and all, right? So that reduces all those things. And clients are always looking for cost benefits, cost efficiency, especially into this the current competitive market.
Interesting. My last question is, what is the most important lesson you learned during your career journey in the GIS? What is the optimum thing that you discovered? If I knew this lesson or this information like back when I started my career, a lot of things would change.
Yeah, that's interesting question. When I look back, I think uh, I should have started this programming thing with learning the and adapting the programming uh, early in my career, right? So that should have helped me. and that's now that have changed a bit for the current generation. So they should be, and in fact, it is more challenging for them because they have to adapt with lots of technologies like AI technologies, ChatGPT, or this Gen AI technologies and all, right? So they have to, and in fact, geospatial has also changed a lot. It has become advanced now. You have lots of different areas when you are working into the geospatial, especially. So you cannot say I'm just doing this application of the GIS part of it. You have to understand the remote sensing part of it. You have to understand the earth observation part of it. You have to understand the domain part of it, right? So those are all challenges for the current generation. But yes, if I would have got an opportunity to learn the programming or I would have started the programming in the early stage of my career, I would have been a very strong technology guy by now, and then that would have helped. Another area, and that's a suggestion for this community as well, that start networking right now. Okay, that's very important in this industry. This is, I always say GIS is a small world. Okay, but still I see lots of missing links here, right? So if you do more and more networking, and if I would have done this earlier, I would have definitely had a different career path or different or better things, right? So yes, do the networking. That's very important. Networking.
Interesting. So what would you say like a last advice for youth people in Egypt working in the GIS, have the huge passion about GIS and working in the GIS? What is the last piece of advice you would like them to get out of this talk after they get home to start the next era of them to learn more about the GIS?
Yeah. So when you look at GIS, don't look at it as just a tool or technology. Okay. So I would suggest they should always try to find some real world challenges. Okay, real time challenges, or have that curiosity in their mind. Okay, so that you always look for the gap wherever, I mean, in the solution or in the product or the challenge that customers are facing. Look for those opportunities and always try to innovate something. And GIS is the best platform for the innovation standpoint because it makes use of the technologies, it makes use of the geography, it makes use of the various data sources and the domain, right? So it is applicable for every domain. You can work into the climate science, or you can work into the environment, you can work into the autonomous car, you can work into the utilities, telecom, right? So it depends on whatever your area of interest, but always try to look for some kind of a what are the challenges industry or the businesses are facing, and try to look at it from the curiosity standpoint and try to innovate something into that. That's very important, especially into the early stage of the career. That's very important. And another important thing I would suggest, try to collaborate or associate yourself with some NGOs or the government organizations or the universities, and work with them and help solving them some of these problems, challenges.
Interesting. Okay, that's very insightful, Mr. Yuri. Thank you so much for accepting my invite, getting and joining during this short time of preparation and this short talk. I think it was very valuable, even for me. I learned a lot from your talk, and I guess we might organize more and more talks to transfer this knowledge from the US market and from yourself for the community here in Egypt. Thanks so much. I would like to show you the people here are very excited about what you've said. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks, team, for listening me patiently. If you have any question, feel free to ask me or reach out to me. I'm available. We can also find some collaboration opportunities if there is something really you think where we can work together.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.